Hello all, welcome back to software testing course. So yesterday we had started with the fifth chapter and we had seen about the introduction and how the organization is structured. So today we'll get started with the next topic, that is testing process management. So to deliver the quality software, the process oriented approach is a must. Okay, that means you have to plan your work, then you have to track the work, and after the work is completed you have to do a post-mortem analysis to find out what went wrong and what went right. Okay, so based on the analysis then you have to improve your process. So here is the diagram for the same. So if you follow this approach you can deliver a better product, so that you can plan better the next time and you will be a better person. So this approach is applicable to everyone, like the engineers, managers, developers, everyone. Okay, so in fact we can apply this approach even in our daily life. Like first you have to plan your activity, then you have to track it, or basically that means what is the progress on your activity. And say suppose once you have completed the activity you have to do a analysis on your activity. So this is about the testing process management, or basically the quality improvement process. Fine. So in this diagram, as we know, it is the first thing is planning. So for the testing process what is required, right? So this planning, it contains, like in this phase what you can do is like you can plan for your testing process, like the test plan you can do, what are the things necessary, what is the budget, manpower, all these things will come into the planning. The next one is tracking. Tracking is like, say suppose the testing is in progress, then you have to track like how many defects have been found out, how many have been fixed, then how many test cases have been passed, failed. These all things can be tracked here. Then say suppose once the testing activity is completed, then the next step is postmortem. That is nothing but you have to analyze your whole testing process, whatever you have done, what went wrong and what went right. Then in this analysis what you can do, you can correct the the faults which you have done, the errors which you have done. You can improve your planning and the tracking activity, so you can be a next time you can have a better plan, better product, and you can be a better person. So basically here the philosophy is PDCA. That means we have plan, do, check and act. So what does that mean? Plan means to carry out the detailed planning of your activity. So in our case it is the testing activity, right? Then do is nothing but to carry out the activity, actually testing has been carried out here. Then check. Check is to whether activity is going as per plan, and also take measurements, like are you in the right path, are you doing or are you making the proper progress, are you stuck in somewhere. So these all things comes under check. Act is like to take mid course corrections and also the improve your process. If say suppose once the testing is done, if you have any areas to improvise, you can do that in the act. Fine. Then next we will talk about options for the managers. So one of the important activity of your manager is to study the possible alternatives. Like if your organization, if they want a specific software, then there are two alternatives. Like either you develop your own software or you buy it. So buying is nothing but it is COTS software, that is commercial off the shelf. You are buying the software from different organization, okay, or the product which is already in the market. Or else the second option is software development. In your organization you develop the software. So these are the two options that are available for managers when a project is yet to be developed. Okay, so if you have, or basically say the manager, he has all got the project requirements, and he knows that the product or the similar requirement it is already in the market, or some company has developed that particular software and it is already in use. Then what you can do, the manager what he can do is like he can buy it. Okay, that means commercially off the shelf software, he is not developing it in his organization but he is buying from some other organization. Fine. Otherwise, say suppose when the project manager has done the analysis of the requirements of the project, if say suppose there is no match, then what he can do, he can develop the project in his organization. So now we will see these two things one by one. The first we will see is COTS software. or it is called as commercially off the shelf software. So whenever the manager he decides to buy this software like outside his organization, that is called as commercially off the shelf software, the only advantage here is like the software is already available and it can be bought and it can be used without any losing of your time. Like the development activity, the development time is reduced. Why? Because you are purchasing which is already readily available software, right? So but we need to consider few aspects in this COTS software. Like whenever you are buying some software, you need to keep in mind few points. So these are the points here. 5 points are there. The first one is the selection of the software. That means the this is based on the requirements. Like the project manager, first he has to study all the project requirements, then he has to make the decision. So first what he has to do is like he has to compare the requirements of the new project which he has got with the available features of the COTS software. So this requirement analysis or the comparison between the requirements what your project manager has got along with the COTS software which is already available has to be done. The next one, vendor selection. So vendor selection is like when you know that your project manager knows that the requirements what he has got, it is similar to the, say suppose, two products which are already in the market. That means we have two vendors, so the project manager can buy the software from any of these vendors. So there are certain points that the project manager has to keep in mind while doing this vendor selection. Like the first one is the reputation of the vendor. That means what is his rating, what is his quality approaches he has used. So first one is the reputation of the vendor in the market. Next one, support to be provided for the software. So say suppose there is a vendor, you have purchased the software from him, and say suppose you are running into some issue, it is not working, then whether he is going to provide some support or not. So this you have to keep in mind when you are doing the vendor selection. Apart from that, whether the vendor is a local presence, or a vendor's local presence is present or not. If suppose you are in Bangalore, whether the vendor is in India or not, so that in your local time, if there is an issue, you can get support from that. Or else your vendor is in different country, you have to make this note. Okay. Then licensing terms and conditions. So when you are buying a software from the vendor, you have to check the terms of it, like the licensing terms and the conditions. So are they giving us some conditions, like say for example, once the software has been delivered, they'll be giving the support for only 2 months. So what after next? So these all things have to be considered. Then once you buy the software, the vendor has to give you the training, right? So whether the training is covered or not, or it is like just simply buying the software, you have to consider this as well in vendor selection. And the last one, of course, it is the cost of the software. So you have to compare. If you have multiple vendors, you have to compare what is the best price they are giving for your software. Okay. The next one here is lack of possibility to make the modifications. That means if you are buying some software, that is the COTS software from the other organization, so you have to first check in future if there are any new functionalities, can it be added to in your whatever the software you have bought or not. So this has to be considered. So there might be a problem that whenever you have a new feature or modification to the old feature, so the vendor may not be ready. He may not be ready for making the modifications. That means once he has sold the software to you, it is done. So he may not provide support for modification of the features as per your requirements. So this is another point here: lack of possibility to make the modification. So the next one is need for customization. So that means say suppose you have a product or the software such as ERP package, so they need lot of customization after installing. So sometimes the customization cost, it might be more than the actual cost of the software. So you need to probe into the customization cost before taking the decision to buy this COTS software. And the last one is testing the COTS software. Again, once you have bought the COTS software from outside organization, that really does not mean the testing should not be done on that. So once you have bought, even if the product is live, you have to do the testing. So again, the testing has to be done for functional and the non-functional requirements, and entire detailed testing process has to be worked out even if it is the software which you have bought from outside. Fine. So these are the things which you have to keep in mind while buying the COTS software. So next, another possibility for the manager is do the software development in his organization. So if the COTS software is not available, say suppose your client has given you the project requirements and you do not find any of the requirements which is readily available in any software, right? That time what you can do is like you have to consider the option for the development. Again, the development can be done in house or it can be subcontracted or it can be outsourced, right? So if the development is outsourced or it is subcontracted, then again you need to carry out the testing to ensure that the software is as per your requirements. Now, if the development is done in-house, what you can do is like you can have a separate testing team so that the testing team carries out entire testing of the software. Again, if you have a chance, you can give the software testing for the subcontractor as well, right? Now, say for example, the top management they have given you the responsibility to make a payroll software package. So that is for your organization. So the software has to maintain the information about the salaries of the employees. Then it has to generate necessary reports, right? So you have to consider now. In this case, you can consider two options: either you buy the software or get it developed in your own organization. Now, if you buy the software, so you have to get the details of the payroll software packages that is available in the market. Then you have to compare those specifications with your specification. That means whatever the requirements your top management has given to you, you have to consider or you have to compare those requirements with the readily available COTS software. Okay. So once this is done, say suppose there is a comparison in your requirements and the readily available software. So you should not jump on directly in buying that. So you have to make a detailed plan on that. Like you have to do a detailed activity or detailed comparison between your you know uh, project requirement and the readily available requirement, right? Then you have to study the vendor, like the support provided by him. So what are his conditions? These all things have to be studied. Say suppose after selecting a particular vendor's package, so then you need to test the software. You have to check now whether the software testing, it basically involves checking the entire requirements, whether it is meeting your needs or not. So whether it is reliable, these are the things that has to be tested. So you cannot ask for modifications to be done by the vendor as it is a generic package and it is sold by the vendor, right? So this is one option. You have another option, right? That is software development. So what you can do, you can decide the software to be developed. So you can get it either developed in-house, like in your organization you can develop, or you can have a development team, give the requirements to them, let them develop it. Or else again, the you can subcontract it, right? You give the requirements to different company, let them develop it. So once that is done, what you have to do, you have to test it, right? So again, the testing can be in house or outsourced. Like if the development is, take any option, like the development is done in your organization or it has been given for the contractor. Again, for the testing, what you have to do, either you can do it in house or you can give it to the subcontractor. So these are the major things which a project manager has to consider whenever a project requirement is given to him. Fine. Next, we will study about testing process management activities. So what are the management activities that can be done in your testing process? So here, basic goal of the testing process is to develop the quality software, right? So we have many certified organization wherein organization wide testing process has been developed based on the international models. So based on this process, the process needs to be obtained specific to a project. That means there might be a generic model, you have to fine tune it for your software development in your organization. The process, it should also define the objectives of the testing, what are the methodologies you are using, what is the infrastructure, the tools required, or what is the manpower required. These all things will come into the picture. So the manager in charge of the testing process, he has to carry out certain activities. So these are defined here. So the first one is planning the testing process, budgeting, and scheduling. So basically, planning is nothing but when the testing process has to be started, what are the things that is required for starting off your testing team, right? What is the budget you require, what is the manpower you require, then what is the timeline for the testing process, these have to be identified. Then you have to align organization wide testing process to your project. What is your organization is following in terms of testing, what is the quality measurements or quality measures based on the some international standards which your organization is following, so that has to be applied for your testing team as well in your project. Okay, then what can be done? You can form the testing team. How many people are required? How many senior testers are required? How many junior testers are required? So based on the budget, you can form your testing team. Then provide the necessary infrastructure. Basically, infrastructure is nothing but a proper seating arrangement for your testing team. Where they can sit as a team and they can work. Basically, we have to provide the necessary infrastructure or the environment for the testing team so that they can carry out the testing without any problem. Again, your tools are also included in this. Like if you are doing some automation, if you need some tools, those things will also come under infrastructure. Okay. So the next one is executing the test plan and regularly reviewing the work and monitoring the process. That means so the manager in charge he has to check whether the testing process is going as per the test plan, whether whatever is mentioned in the test plan whether it has been actually carried out or not. So he has to regularly review the work and he has to maintain or monitor the progress. Again, the manager in charge he has to manage the risk, he has to obtain the test metrics such as the n number of reports which would be generated, like the work which is completed in a day or a week or a month, or say suppose the defects that have been identified in a day, month, or something like that. Then he has to track all the defects. That means the classification of the defects, whether how many are high priority, how many are low priority, what is the severity of the defect, whether any defect is stopping you from the testing process. This has to be carried out. Next point is carrying out the configuration management. That means what are the things that will make up your software or the system, like it will include the source code, test script, these all things would be kept in one folder so that it can be used in future. So then the last one, if suppose your testing is completed, what the test manager has to do is he has to perform the post-mortem analysis. That means it is after testing, once the testing is everything is done, he has to do the analysis, like what went wrong, what went right. These all things have to be captured or analyzed by the test manager, right? So once this postmortem analysis is done, then the test manager he has to improve the testing process. If suppose if something went wrong, or the defect it was not tracked properly, or it has not been kept in a report properly, if it has been failed, then in this case he has to improve the defect tracking area. So these are the some improving things what the test manager can do in the management of the testing process. That's it for today. We'll conclude our session. Thank you.